interesting thing, new Rolex release, but online only
Online
Rolex
only.
release. How crazy is that?
I mean, I think the thing was that they strung us along for at least 4 or 5 months and then made the announcement September 1st. But the best part of it was we would typically not get the watches until late
6 months
summer,
later. Yeah.
the fall anyways. So the fact that they did the release September 1st and then, 3 or 4 days later, the watches hit the market was awesome.
I love that the rumor train behind that was so strong because I got calls from clients, you name it. I got calls coming out of the woodwork. Oh, I heard you got them right as they're, that same day. And I was like, no, I haven't seen them yet. and it was a rumor train that started. And I think it took a few weeks for us to get any, right?
It was about 7 or 8 days, 10
Okay,
days.
wow.
But the shipments,
Man.
I mean, again, it comes, armored car, and it takes a few days, and we're in Philadelphia, so, it takes a
things
couple
are
of days,
sketchy.
but it doesn't they definitely got them released pretty quickly. But I mean, they started this tradition with Tudor a couple years ago where they would do a launch, and literally the day it launched, it arrived at all their authorized dealers.
Which is amazing.
Awesome.
beautiful.
So it was just, I think the buildup was so amazing because I know I talked about them for months, speculation on what it was going to be.
I mean, every day in the office we would
Yeah,
speculate.
Every day in the
like-
office. And I think we got a lot of it right, which was kind of fun. And some of the things, again, totally blew us away out of the blue. And
I mean, Oyster Perpetual, what they did with the line is everything to me. I couldn't be happier to see these bright colors again. Orange OP36 is, I swear, I just bought a watch, but it's my next watch. I adore that.
The orange nice, the blue is beautiful. It's like a Tiffany blue. I just like it's a return of the Stellas kind of. I love Rolex having fun.
Yeah.
It's like a nice fun watch. You and your lady, you and your kid, it's a nice family watch. The price isn't too crazy, but it's still like you're wearing a suit and it's a nice little pop of color. Like it's a really good entry.
The conversation started.
Well, I think the thing that's fascinating to me is, first of all, everybody was speculating Submariners, everybody was speculating Explorer 2s, everybody was speculating a million things. Nobody on the planet saw an OP41 coming.
No.
Or getting rid of the 39. And then to that extent, certainly nobody saw them coming out with all these different colors.
These lacquered bright colors.
Bright colors, where traditionally that was reserved for gold.
Right.
And traditionally new things always start in gold and work their way down.
Yep.
And they really broke the mold this year by making something in an affordable price range at $5,900. It's great. And funky colors, awesome. And just the shock to the market is obvious.
And I just love the little nod. So the original Stellars were lacquered enamel.
Right.
And these are just these really bright, beautiful, deep lacquering, and it's just such an appropriate modern nod. You know what I mean? I don't expect Rolex to do enamel again. I just don't.
Right.
It's something that of the past that is amazing, but that's where it's going to stay. It's more than likely going to stay in the past, but they can still do these beautiful bright dials in a really nice lacquering.
Yeah,
It's
no,
awesome.
and they're deep, they're vivid when you see them in person. Like it's like a nice punch
And
of
funky.
color.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
like the
They're
blue,
off.
the Tiffany blue, as we're calling it,
I
that
love
was
the Tiffany blue,
fantastic,
to be
out of this world. The yellow, I went with Jorn yellow because it's the
Yep,
exact
yep.
same color Jorn uses in their
Actually,
smartwatches.
Zoe, Watch Girl Z, nicknamed it the New York Taxi Cab Yellow.
Yes, I saw that. I like that. NYC cab.
Love that. So
It's
credit
great
to
in
her.
the pink, and just a great array of colors. And then again, in a price point, in different sizes, just multitudes of options.
Yeah, I hope they keep expanding that line a little bit. Knowing them, they'll bring some back and.
Well, knowing them, in a couple of years, it'll go away.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. How cool would that be if it was like a 3, 4, 5 year run?
Little capsule.
And we did a couple new colors in a couple
Yeah.
years, but they went away, and we
I
just
love
started
that.
rotating the rainbow. I mean,
I'm
that would
waiting
be
for a purple.
amazing.
Waiting for purple.
We need a
You know
purple,
what's
we need a
coming. You know what's
brown.
coming.
Brown would be really
Ooh,
cool,
brown
actually.
is-
Something
yeah.
like nice and coppery.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, the opportunity is endless here.
I feel like we're going to catch a lot of flack for doing a Rolex release show, and it's always so funny to me how divisive the fans of Rolex can be because everybody's going to be clamoring for these pieces and already are. And the thing is, Rolex just won't announce pieces that they don't do better. And I can say with confidence, we were talking before we started shooting, everything is a step up.
Everything's a step up.
Everything.
And I think, again, even the littlest things that they do, and again, I'll take all the heat for Rolex because I'm a junkie.
Same.
I mean, it's like, that's my daily driver.
Yep.
I have a number of them. I want a couple more now,
I'll
unfortunately.
battle anybody all day who wants to argue Rolex.
Right, and they will produce a lot.
Without a doubt.
More than any brand we carry. We'll get more subs and more colors than any other brand in a new release. It's just the demand is so astronomical that we'll never catch up.
And it's so hard to
So I mean, that's like, we're supposed to criticize them because, like, you know, too many people want your things, for God's sake. It's terrible.
But the thing is, if not everybody, or rather, if everybody could have one, the demand wouldn't be there. It's just, if everybody and their mother could have a Daytona, not everybody would want a Daytona. And people would be giving it trouble for being an quote-unquote overpriced chronograph. You know?
No, you're absolutely right. I think it definitely is the elephant in the room, but the truth is people don't understand the demand. And I wish we could like play all the calls and everybody combined.
I mean, how many text messages did you get September 1st?
CQ,
I mean,
you know, all I ever wanted was
like, don't you remember me? No, I have no idea who you are.
because I thought it was gonna be
I told you once 27 years ago.
It was supposed to be the blue sub, and it's like, hey, CQ, all I ever wanted was all blueberry sub. Then it comes out in white gold. Oh, CQ, I don't want that, but can you get the Kermit?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I appreciate that. And the different guys who are like real guys who are gonna keep the watches, who, you know, we'll have our internal battles and see who can get what. But like, there's not that many watches, and like for every one of those guys who are real relationships, who know who they are, there's literally 1,000 who call, hey, you know, what do I have to do? They're trying to, I don't know, everybody thinks it's this big conspiracy and they're trying to like, hey, I'm just gonna send you a check for whatever watch that comes out. I just like, you know.
I'll never forget taking countless calls and asking to be put on the list for, this was last year or maybe the year before, the new Coke that was coming out. Where is it?
My favorite was I got a call like 2 weeks before saying, you know, I just want the new watch. I don't care what it is.
Well, it's like,
no, you're never gonna get it because, you know,
it's a new watch.
You don't even care. The only reason you want it is because you think it's worth more than you're gonna pay for it.
And that's
you're the last guy on earth I'm gonna give
there
you.
are so many flippers out right now, and really what it does is like, it just dilutes the pool of real buyers out there. You know what I mean?
100%.
And the prices that we're seeing are from flippers for the most part. I mean, it's crazy. The overall outstretching demand, it spans endlessly.
Right. But I think we got to get back to why it happens.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, so a sub classic, you know, we'll call it the no date, even though it shouldn't be. It's just a sub.
Just a sub.
But I mean, they took a watch that they've been making forever and made it incrementally that much better.
They did.
And everybody for weeks was like, oh my God, it's a 41. Why would they do that? Well, you've obviously never had it on because the profile, the fit on it, your wrist, is amazing. And yes, for somehow, whatever the way they measured it, they tell me it's bigger. It doesn't wear bigger. It doesn't look bigger. It wears better than any Rolex you've ever seen. It's thinner.
It's like, look at
the
that
profile is amazing.
They chopped the crown guards in the exactly the correct way, and nothing is too much anymore.
And then just think about this. So like, this has probably been in the works for what? 3, 4, 5 years. And they're going, okay, take 100th of a micron off the crown guards.
Bit more,
and let's try that.
A little bit more.
I mean, the
How many
attention
versions
to
of two?
detail
I
that
wish-
went into this watch is staggering.
I just wish I could see
to make a plain watch.
the 10 or 20 prototypes that are in the Rolex vault somewhere that are all set to
Millimeter by
1008.
millimeters.
And who makes the call?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Who makes that this is perfect?
It's gotta be a
Because
board. I mean-
I want to hire him because he's right. It's perfect.
True perfection. It really is.
No, it's a great size, really well executed. I think there is this thing going on with bigger wrist guys versus small wrist guys all of a sudden. Like, I feel like we're back to 8 years ago where it's like, oh, it needs to be 39, it needs to be 41, you know.
But
and
what
it's-
people don't understand, and I've always said this because I like bigger watches, it has very little to do with the millimeter size. It's all about the lugs.
All about proportions
and it's
lugs.
all about how it sits on the wrist because of how the angles of lugs and the length of lugs has so much more to do with the fit of a watch than a millimeter size will ever do.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Because
I mean,
if
look
it
at-
sits right, like my Panerai is a 44,
Yep.
it sits beautifully on me, an old Lumino Marina.
Well, I always look at the Journe sports models, the 44s. They wear like 41 to 42 millimeter watches.
You would never get somebody to bet you that that's a 44.
And this may technically measure 41 millimeters, but this is a 40 millimeter watch as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it really is. They did such a good job in order to take care of proportions in a perfect way.
I'd say the other thing that I love that they did was, okay, so we have the new sub, no date. We have a new sub date. We have a new steel and gold sub. We have a new
They didn't
permanent.
segment.
We have a new
SKUs.
white gold. I mean, they really rolled out,
the whole
which
line.
I've never seen them do before
Yeah.
in all the years.
full
Usually,
line.
we start with gold. 2 years later, we work our way down, and eventually, the slackers who wear steel watches get a watch. But having it all come as one collection, I thought was awesome. And again, Kermit.
It's a winner.
Not my thing,
It is
but
a
it's
winner,
an
definitely.
absolute winner.
Exactly. I agree. I really like the Hulk. The Hulk speaks to me a little bit more, but the Kermit's a winner. People love it. I thought the Blueberry, I had a feeling the Blueberry wasn't going to come back. Like a steel, the Smurf already exists, and we already saw what happened when they did the Pepsi and steel and the white gold Pepsi owners. That became a big issue for them. So I never thought a Smurf was coming out. The Kermit made sense. My only gripe with them, to be honest, I wish the Cellini got something. I don't know what it could get.
So
I don't know.
2 years ago was the year of the Cellini.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's true,
mean?
that's true.
We had a
I
really
want
cool
too
moon
much.
phase with the
Right,
meteorite.
the
I
moon phase.
love
You're
that
right.
watch.
Love that watch.
That's a very forgotten Rolex, and it doesn't deserve to be. It's amazing. It's awesome. The moon phase is a little bit not the most intuitive to read, but it's beautiful. It's awesome. It's a little piece of meteorite. It's so cool.
And it's funny because I think the Kermit is getting all the attention, but I think that Blueberry, the white gold piece, is awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't know about you guys, but I haven't gotten as much clamor for it, and I think that's going to be one of my favorites when I see it in person. I have not seen that one particularly in person. I did yesterday get to play with the steel and gold blue, and I don't like the blue.
I love the blue.
I don't like the blue. It's 2 shades too light.
Are we talking about the bezel or the dial?
Dial.
Oh, because they went back to the sunburst.
So the
right?
dial
Yeah.
went back to sunburst, exactly. And I have the original steel and gold, Clown Club. That deep, deep blue, but it's bright as could be. And I love that. And then they went to that matte blue, which I hated.
See, I love the matte.
Hated the matte. And now this one's like, I thought the last blue was better.
Yeah, it's a little old school. That blue belongs with aluminum bezel. I don't know. It just the sunburst.
Exactly.
I'm in the
doesn't match the
minority here.
bezel
I,
well.
I think they knocked it out of the park, and I think they did a couple of things. So like, they made it feel to me a little bit more like the older two-tone pieces that started to fade to purple. Like that color almost like married into this newer blue a little bit to me, and I love what they did. I also think they slimmed out the surrounds of the hour markers a little bit, or they changed something with the proportions of the dial
You're
just
right, 'cause
ever
it
so
does look a
slightly.
little,
Big change.
print.
The print, exactly. No longer gold, done in white, which brings out the higher notes of the dial in a really good way, I think.
I like the white print. I can live with the white print.
Yep.
I don't like that blue.
I could see them doing. I could see them.
Have I told you I
doing-
don't like the blue? And I don't think anybody realized that they even changed the blue except for me.
And it's a different blue than even the OP39.
100% different blue.
It's just
That's a great blue.
this is a great blue.
That's
I agree.
a 10 on the
Definitely.
blue
Sky
scale.
gold.
I mean, that's like, and I'm a blue junkie. That's why I'm not the Kermit guy. My life is blue.
See, I'm not
I
the
love
biggest blue guy, I
I'm a
have to
blue guy,
say.
so I consider myself an expert in blue.
I don't know if you can tell, but I like black a lot. But you know,
You can have the regular sub, but
black matte dial.
I won't be rocking the new steel and gold blue. I
Speaking
promise
of Sky Dwellers, though, we mentioned a minute ago, that was the big surprise to me.
you. And that was the one that to me has been completely ignored.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
That rubber strap,
Oysterflex,
Oysterflex,
Sky Dweller.
Sky
Yep.
Dweller, rose, yellow, gold, black.
Amazing.
Now we have not seen a lot of good yellow pieces in Rolex in years.
And I'm Italian, so I love yellow gold.
I'm Greek. We can pretty much the same. I love that yellow, gold, black elastomer is perfect, and nobody's talking about it.
I know. It was an interesting choice moving that to Oysterflex.
Agreed.
And I thought that not to talk about price points, but I thought that the price point was an interesting choice because the bracelet version isn't that much more.
No, it's not.
It's not enough to make a difference at that price point, in my opinion.
Well, but again, at the end of the day, I look at it as the guy who's buying that watch is going to just be like,
Yeah.
fall in love, and
Wear it
the
that
price
way.
point,
Where
whether
the
it's
ever-living
$5,000
hangout,
less or $5,000 more, is not going to
It's
make
not
the
gonna
difference.
make a difference.
They're going to want that watch, and I just think it's a super daily wear. I always was hoping eventually we'll get to the point where we have an elastomer in a steel piece.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'm sure we'll get there.
They should usually make conversion kits for everything. It's the weirdest thing to me, the Oyster. Like, why not just be like, hey, we have an Oysterflex. You
This
could
is
put
an
it,
option.
You know, we're
But
gonna
this is
charge you.
traditional Rolex approach. Is
True.
if you're willing to spend the
Yep.
higher, you have more options.
Yeah.
It's always like with Datejust, you had 5 colors in steel, you had 15 in two-tone, you had 100 in gold.
This is
If you were the gold guy,
If you ever find
write
an
your
old,
ticket.
you find an old Rolex catalog, the gold, you just like,
Exactly.
like all it does.
If it's a color you can think of, we made it for you.
So what would be the first steel? Like, I'd love to see like the 42 millimeter Yachtmaster in steel. On an
I was
Oysterflex.
thinking the new Explorer 2.
Ooh. that
So
would be nice.
let's have an aside about that. Everybody for the last 4 years, or not everybody, but a lot of people for the last 4 years have been pitching, oh yeah, this is the year for a ceramic bezel. Why has anybody ever thought that the
Very
Explorer
weird.
2 was going to have a ceramic bezel? It never even had a colored bezel.
Very
it was
weird.
always
It-
steel.
it's a very weird thing, and I hear people say that a lot, and I always wonder, like, where did that come in? I guess if we're just being freaky in our heads, like, I guess it sort of makes sense. But like, if you can't tell me the Explorer 2 is not a perfect watch, and that bezel is not a perfect, is not like one of the more perfect non-moving bezels.
I think
out there,
because
you
I think
know?
because they switched the Daytona to a fixed bezel
And it
ceramic,
worked, it
and it
worked.
worked. I think the thought was they would eventually go.
And
to
I
that
think
point.
people do have the issue with that bezel scratching relatively easily.
Yes.
Which it does, but watches are meant to be worn. They're meant to get scratched.
You know my feelings on that.
Same,
I mean, beat
same
the hell
here.
out of it. Wear
I mean,
it,
this is
enjoy
3
it.
weeks old, and it looks like.
And that is an awesome piece.
I
mean,
love
I
this.
love that on you.
I love this. This is a 116900. So I adore this watch.
I have a
and,
feeling
I
bad.
have
You were
to thank
deeply a
for it.
Rolex guy.
I am deeply a Rolex guy.
The Omegas, damn the Omegas.
Damn the Omegas.
Here comes the comments now.
But it's because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, no introduction has ever been more looked forward to. Nobody sat there on the September 2nd and said, oh, damn, well, you know, I'm disappointed. Everybody had something to talk
Yep,
about.
yep.
Which
And-
was epic in an introduction for Rolex, I think. It was
Yeah,
just-
and it's about getting it all out.